Welcome back to Million Dollar Landscaper Podcast. Today, I'm super excited to bring on Alec Naylor of Nailerscapes. Now, Alec has been on the podcast a few other times, and he is one of our founding members to our Million Dollar Academy. So I'm excited to bring him on because he has come a long way, I should say, in his landscaping journey. And today, I wanted to bring him on to share with you some of his thoughts and some of the things that he's doing in his business to not only attract new team members, but to keep his team members. It's like a customer. We work so hard to get that customer. We need to keep the customer. So he does some unique things with the way he attracts new team members and the way he goes about keeping those team members. So make sure you stick around after a quick word from our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Busy Busy. Busy Busy is so simple to use, and it's the most reliable GPS time tracking app on the market. And the best part is, it was built for landscapers. Busy Busy's founder created Busy Busy because he owns multiple construction companies and needed to understand better which projects were making him money and which projects were killing him. Payroll is the highest variable cost in the project, so you better be tracking it. Busy Busy does this better than anyone else. So download Busy Busy today, and don't forget to mention the Million Dollar Landscaper Podcast to get 3 free months.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You know you want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $100 off, mention the Million Dollar Landscaper Podcast.
Welcome back to Million Dollar Landscaper Podcast. Today, I'm super excited to have back on Alec Naylor. Alec is actually one of our founding members to our Million Dollar Academy, and super excited to have him on today. Today, we're going to dive into employees and getting employees and share with you some of the things that Alec has been doing in his business. Welcome, Alec. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, Scott. Nice to be here, man.
Hey, Alec, just for the people that don't know you, you mind sharing a little bit about you, what you do, types of services and everything?
Yeah. So I own Nailerscapes. We're based out of Ogden, Utah. And been doing this for, 12 years now?
Nice.
Something like 12 years. So, kind of typical started mowing lawns, pulling weeds, doing stuff like that. But, over the course of the last however many years, we now specialize in xeriscapes and garden boxes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you just recently, fairly recently, I guess, transitioned to doing the garden boxes and everything, right? You were doing a little bit of everything before?
Yeah. We were we were getting our feet wet and just about everything. So,
yeah.
We've always done like the xeriscapes and garden boxes. It's always kind of been a part of, what we wanted to do. But it was just recently, like drought conditions and stuff like that. It was kind of the time to pull the trigger, and that's all we do now.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been nice. Yeah, very nice.
So like I said, Alec has been in the academy for quite some time. And I should have looked this up, I guess, beforehand, but it's been some years since he's started our program, and he's gone through some pretty good, significant changes, I would say, in his business, from being the one that was out there, doing the work. And now is actually fairly, last year or so, you really transitioned out of being in the field so much and more into the office and do the selling and the office admin type of stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah, man. I don't think I've touched a shovel all season. So I don't want to say that. I don't want to come off like that. I've touched. Don't let the sweater fool you. I've touched a shovel this season. But as far as like, showing up at the job site at 7:00 in the morning, staying there until 5 or 6 o'clock at night. I haven't been. So I usually make my checks. I come to the job sites a couple times a week. Just to make sure things are good to go. And other than that, this is my kingdom. So I sit here in this office and make phone calls and do quotes and designs and all that other fun stuff.
I think at one of your previous conversations, you mentioned that your crews actually kick you out of the field. They see you on there too long, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's just a problem that every owner has, man. I
Yeah.
show up and I try to, you try to micromanage. I don't think it's I just think micromanaging can be a habit with anybody.
Mhm. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think it's like any one set person, but yeah, I show up, for too long. Um, I can kind of, you get that sense, like they don't say it at first, but you can kind of like, like with your kids, like they start rolling their eyes. Gosh,
Yeah.
gosh, we just leave. Um, but yeah, they've become a little bit more comfortable with it now. Of like, you just need to leave. Let us do this.
Nice.
So yeah.
So, do you mind sharing a little bit, like for those that haven't gotten out of the field yet, what are some of the benefits that you have seen personally and mentally, I guess, as far as getting out of the field? How has that helped your business?
Um, I'm able to concentrate more on the bottom line of things. Um, make sure the business is healthy, because without a healthy business, you can't have employees, and you can't operate. So
Mhm.
um, getting out of the field has allowed me to concentrate, like I said, on the budget side of things, making sure that our value is there from
Mhm.
communication with clients and stuff like that. And just, I mean, I, as well as just me, being in the field and coming out after hours to work on quotes and designs, and still hanging out with your kids and stuff like that. It's nearly impossible. Like, you can't balance all of that.
Yeah.
So before, when I was still in the field, I was really doing, 2 or 3 full-time jobs, making sure everything was taken care of. Now I have my job, my 40-hour a week, sometimes 40 hours a week job. Um, and that's it. I do everything from home, so I get to hang out with my kids. I'm sitting here watching them on, the camera right now. They're watching TV and eating a snack while I'm doing this, but I'm just out in the shed, um, working on stuff. But um, yeah, I get to walk in and be home and cook dinner and put the kids to bed, and it's not like a huge mental load. I'm not constantly thinking about everything. So,
Nice. How do you think that has helped your personal life with you and your spouse and everything and your family?
oh, well, I mean, 1,000%. I'm home a lot more, so going from like 90, 100 hours a week of just being gone to now, like, you know, roaming around the house in my sweater and Crocs. Um, it's definitely like a transition. It's weird. You get a little bit of that, imposter syndrome a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, it's been really nice.
Mhm.
I think our relationships have gotten a lot better.
It's
So
good.
more than what it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We always kind of think back when we were kids, and we want stuff for our kids to be better. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping we're you know checking that one off the list. So
Nice. I love the fact that one of your goals early on was to be able to take your children to school, and that you're able to do this now. That's awesome. I love that story.
yeah, yeah, man. Every morning, it's some mornings are more of a struggle than
Yep,
others.
sure.
Kids are still kids, but
Yeah.
yeah, 20 years from now, I'm not gonna have to, have Thanksgiving dinner and listen to my kids of why they're in therapy because I wasn't around, or
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I hope so. I don't know. It's probably gonna be something else. I'm
We'll
sure.
see.
I'm sure of it.
We'll
Dad,
we'll wait and
Dad
see.
was home too much. Watch,
There you
watch that be it.
go.
Dad was around too much. We'll see that,
That-
but right. But
nice.
no, it's yeah. I set up some non-negotiables.
Mhm.
That was really kind of kicked everything off. Um, I was just tired. I hurt my back. I was just sick all the time. Never had any money.
Mhm.
Oh, it's terrible. Never had any money. So, really kind of kicking my journey off of being like where I'm at now compared to a couple years ago is those non-negotiables. And the number one was I'm taking my kids to school every morning. Another one was I'm going to get paid on a bi-weekly basis.
Yes.
Third one was I'm not going to work for free. So it's worked out. Taking the kids to school every morning made it so I had to be there. Like I had to. There's some kind of just responsibility behind that. Of like, no, business is not important. I gotta take my kids to school, and then I can do business. Just like my employees know. Team. Sorry, I don't like to use the term employees a lot. It's my team knows. Like that's what I do every morning. So I'm not waking up in the morning and hurry up and rushing to a job site or immediately hopping on emails or sitting on the phone trying to plan stuff out for the day. I'm actually trying to help get them ready most mornings. I know my wife is going to listen to this. Call BS on some stuff, but most mornings I kind of help them out. I'm trying to kind of push them to get ready themselves and stuff. But I get to kind of slow down in the mornings, take them to school. Then after they're at school, that's half hour later, around 9:30, I'm in the office.
Nice.
Starting to get stuff squared away. And so, that was a big one. I stuck to it. The next one of paying myself on a weekly basis, that was another big one. I just set up auto pay through my bank. I started off with $500. I think I did $500 every 2 weeks, and then I finally started seeing a lot more profits to the business. So I'm like, okay, well that's obviously not going to work. So then $1,000 every 2 weeks, $1,500 every 2 weeks. Finally getting up to $2,500, $3,000 every 2 weeks. It's all on auto pay too. So the nice thing is it's just I don't really see it. It's just another transaction through the business, and so it's that's been a big help too.
Nice.
You got to pay yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's important. And we do all this work, and many people, I'm sure you've seen it and heard it. Many people just go and work and don't take a paycheck, or they'll take very minimal just to make their bill payments. And that's about it. But we bust our ass all the time. We deserve to get paid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it was actually kind of that profit first mentality. I started, obviously I got my numbers right. Everybody knows that story. But you got to pay yourself. That's, I'm the first one. I have to have my oxygen first. I have to be able to breathe before I can help other people.
Yep. I love
that. That includes my clients. That includes my employees. That includes my vendors. Like I'm useless to all of them if I don't have some breathing room.
Yeah.
So I become a better business owner, a better boss, just a better, person, honestly, if I have some breathing room.
Well, that's a great point, because if you are struggling yourself to pay your own personal bills, whatever they are, paying those bills, and you can't do it, you are just going to become stressed out, and you're probably going to take that out on either your customers or your employees at some point. Just may not be intentional, but it's going to come across that way. So it's good that you're able to do that.
100%, man. Let's not forget like kids and stuff too. Yes. I mean, you know what I mean? You get stressed out. You see it all the time.
Yep.
Your kid wants you to come home and, play a game or throw the ball or something like that. And you have a rough day, snap. So it's not fun. We've all been there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember coming home and my kids want to do something, and you just been working, especially if you've been out in the field all day. You come home and you're just exhausted. And now you're like, to me, I was transitioning. Okay, now I got to do estimates. So my mind's thinking about that and not thinking about the family life. And it was hard. And I look back and kind of regret some of those things I did earlier on, but I learned from it and grew from it. But
yeah. And it's never too late, man. You can always make a correction. It's, I'm fortunate. I don't want to say lucky, because I worked real hard for it, but I'm fortunate. I kind of realized that really early. So I got kids that range from 10 all the way to 1. So I'm glad I got it squared away
Yeah, nice.
a little bit
That's
earlier.
awesome.
But yeah, it's never too late. So
Let me ask, how did the employees take it, your team take it when you approached them and said, "Hey, I'm going to start taking my son to school in the morning. You are going to have to handle the whatever the morning routine or whatever you want to call it." How did they take that? How did that process go?
I think it was because it went really well, just because the people that I had in place at the time, they're still here. They still work for me. But I think they took it really well, just because I was really open about like the books and responsibilities, accountability, and stuff like that. And so I think they, they understood that, like, when the phone rang, I was the one to answer it. If there's a problem on the weekend, that was my job to deal with. If it was 8 o'clock at night and something happened on a job site, I was the one that had to, take care of it. Or, the midnight sessions of, working on a design or stuff like that. So, um, being really open with them about all that stuff. The right people are going to see that. It's going to click in their brain where, they are on the site. They work from 8 to 5 every day. Before and after that, they're out. They can check out. They're done. Whereas, like, they understand I can't, and so I might not be there between 8 and 10 in the morning, but between 5 and 7 o'clock at night, I'm still, I'm still a person that gets called or gets the text messages and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, just having the right people on board, they accepted it, really
Did
well.
you just sit down and kind of have a conversation with them, and or have you built up to that point where you decided that you're going to actually
Yeah,
do it?
yeah. So like not just being open about the books, but being open about how we're going to run things, and like including them in a lot of those decisions. I
Nice.
mean, like not being a jerk to your employees is always a big help
Yeah.
when it comes down to that stuff. But no, we sit down a lot. We have a lot of powwows, meetings about stuff. And my first question to them is always, what can I do to make your job easier and better, right?
Yep.
Because I don't want them to do the same thing I did. I don't want to hire somebody and have them break their back 3 years later because they're it's hard labor. I want to try and make it, that's kind of the whole goal of this stuff. So I want to learn this stuff, just like with your kids. Like, I want to learn this stuff, go through the hardships so that you don't have to. So, sitting down with them, I just told them, I'm like, we have some non-negotiables this year. Number one is the kids. I'm taking my kids to school every morning. It's non-negotiable. I'm not going to argue with you. And every single one of them was like, no, man, that's perfect. That's great. Which, yeah, it was awesome. I know a lot of people are going to, probably try that and stuff like that, and it's not going to go over so well. But, have some compassion and,
I love that you share stories and talk to them. That's great, and have an open book, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's just kind of hard to sum it up in like a 1, 2, 3 step kind of thing, because it takes seasons. It takes quite a while. It's just being kind to your employees and helping them out, doing all that stuff really kind of led up to this moment of me making that decision and going for it. And so they were okay with it. Like,
nice.
I'm not going to start building culture in my business, and the first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to, you got to kind of ramp up to it a little bit. But
was there anything that you found difficult going through this process, like setting them up for the jobs, or anything that you did in particular that kind of stands out?
Yeah, it was all on my end. That was the difficult part
Mm-hmm.
because you run a business for so long, your name's on the side of the truck, your phone number's there, so for so long building a service business, specifically a service business, it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're out in the field working, so you can control all the work. You're talking to all the clients, so you can control all that communication. You're in 100% control of everything. And so like the most difficult part for me was backing off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Allowing them to make mistakes. Um, you know, Putting them in the position to talk to my clients. Allowing them to make decisions. About jobs and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that was probably the most difficult part of it was
Mm-hmm.
releasing that trust,
Nice.
kind of letting
What,
that go.
did you have to do any like training? I know you mentioned here a second ago about allowing your team to talk to the employees I'm sorry, talk to the customers and neighbors and stuff like that. And I know like some people get on them like, hey, you got to get going. You got to be productive. You got to do this and that. And I know you said that's something that you don't do in your business. Was there any training or anything that you had to like point out to them, or did they just kind of just through your culture knew how to talk to the customer and how to explain things?
Um, they weed themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I've had so many employees like come and go over the years, and like the ones that are still here, um, it just kind of clicked
Mm-hmm.
in their head. Um, it's not hard. I mean, you have conversations with all your employees. They're still good people. I mean, we have a couple of rules like don't be smoking in front of them, or
Yeah.
like don't be cussing,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I just kind of like released the reins and said, hey, it's you have to, first it was you got to talk to the clients twice a day, like
Okay.
minimum twice a day. Um, first thing in the morning, tell them you're there, see if they have any questions, and then towards the afternoon when everybody's cleaning up, one of you go grab them, walk the job, make sure everything's good to go, and again, like I said, just like don't be cussing a lot. Just be nice, be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 99% of people on this earth are kind
Mm-hmm.
people. They know how to communicate with people. So um, there wasn't like a script or a video that I had them watch. There wasn't like formal training of scenarios or
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I kind of gave them a couple of tools as far as like if they have questions about the job, and you don't have the answers, it's really just let me get with the office. We'll have an answer for you, by the end of the day.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Kind of teach them some tactics like that. But as other than that, everything was kind of released them.
Mm-hmm.
Just go, be yourselves.
Nice.
So
I know we've talked about this in the past, but you have created a great culture in your landscape business and with your great employees. Was that something you found when you're going through the hiring process, or just kind of weeded people out as you're going through employees? How did you come and build this great culture?
um, I think it just starts with I kind of finally had that epiphany, like who would I want to work for as an owner,
Sure.
because we've all worked for people that were terrible. The old man in the excavator, throwing shovels and shit at us, or you hear the cracking the beers in the excavator from the old man and getting yelled at and stuff. And so, um, understanding that I wanted an employer that was compassionate about like my family
Mm-hmm.
and my needs, and like just being understanding about things. Everybody on the team has kids, so I think it was just this morning. Um, yeah, Beck, she had to take her son in to go get looked at to the doctor, and so I there's zero issues whatsoever. Like they know they can do that.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I think like a lot of the people that come onto the team haven't experienced that with previous employment. They've all kind of been stuck. They were all kind of stuck in like that corporate HR email, like you only have 3 sick days a month kind of thing, or a year kind of thing. And so like when they come on the team, we really try to push that. Like we're okay with this stuff. Like we know emergencies happen. We know your family comes first. Like, it's a big thing around here. I tell them all the time that, landscaping, I don't care. I don't care about it. It's not what we're here for is for landscaping. It's, your family stuff comes first.
Mm-hmm.
You come first. Our relationships with people come first. We just so happen to install xeriscapes and garden boxes at the same time. So, yeah, I started it with the employees. I don't wait for them to respect the whole. You remember the whole, you got to give respect to get respect.
Yeah.
That was a big one to let go. So like I expected them to give me respect before I gave them the respect. But having a big flip on that, like it was a big one to
Well,
help
I
with all that.
think there's been a big change overall in the way people handle or way we should be handling people, I guess, in the terms of employees and teams from what it used to be. Like I remember my dad just being out yelling at people, let's go, 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 go. If you did that nowadays, that you're probably not going to have very many people. And I think a lot of people are still stuck in that mindset of, just get on the people and yell but they're the ones that are struggling getting people, where you have kind of changed your mind and changed your mindset on things and taken a different approach. And you've had pretty good success at keeping people, correct?
Yeah. I've it's not just like keeping people either. I've kept the people that we have for 2-3 years
Mm-hmm.
going now, and I don't I don't know. I hope they don't. If I'm sure they're going to listen to this, but I hope you don't go anywhere. But if you do, it's okay. You know, I don't think they will. But yeah, they ride or die, honestly. So they're all they're all really good people.
Well,
Enjoy them.
well, and I think that brings up another point or another topic here. Like we can go down a whole rabbit hole of employees, but the fact that you allowed, like you've trained the people to do the best they can, and you have spent the time and energy to train the people to do whatever, xeriscaping or whatever type of projects that you do, but you're not afraid to let them go. If they move on to bigger and better things, you wish them the best and
Yeah.
wishing for a happy life. So I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. It's another mindset issue. I think a lot of landscape business owners just don't take.
Yeah. No, anybody on my team, they don't owe me anything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't owe me. They don't owe me anything. They're here. They do the work. They work hard. They make it so that I can, take my kids to school every morning,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Nice.
And so yeah, if anybody ever wants to leave, I just kind of wish them the best of luck. So really, no harm, no foul.
Nice. One other thing I want to talk about is you have done some pretty, I would say they're not crazy, but they're unique ideas as far as like helping keep your teams and pushing through, like even the wintertime when it's slow. You mind sharing some of those things that you do to help keep team members?
Yeah, as far as like kind of the perks,
Yeah. Yep.
stuff like that. I think like the number one thing is kind of like what we talked about earlier, just the kind of having some respect. Not being a hard ass 24/7. Allowing them, like if their kid gets sick, to go take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. I think that's number one. After that, boots, jackets, shirts, all that stuff completely taken care of. They have company vehicles. They get to drive back and forth to work. I don't put like huge stipulations on them, like on the weekends. Like we don't have like a 50-page rule book on, you got to take this vehicle home and this is what it's for, and they use them. If
Mhm.
they got to go to the grocery store on the weekend, they take the truck. I don't care. They're responsible with it. We buy a cow every fall, so we just took delivery of it a couple weeks ago. Um, I had to go buy a bigger freezer because we finally had to get a full cow. But the cow shows up. We pay. It's all grass fed beef. Like about what, $2,500, $3,000
Nice.
worth of beef. And so they're fed all winter. It's kind of the goal there is we get it around this time. And so the freezer stocked for all winter and going into spring. We have all the steaks, and roasts, and hamburgers you could ever want. What else? Oh man,
I love the steer or the cattle idea. I think that's a great
yeah, yeah,
benefit. And you said you just keep it in your freezer and they come every so often if they need it, or how
yeah.
do you get that?
Well, I mean, not everybody has room for like some big stand up, deep
Yeah.
freezer. So, basically, I order it. It shows up usually on a Saturday. They bring all the coolers. We get all the coolers ready.
Okay.
So right then and there, we separate like a whole bunch of it based on like what they can store at home. And then yes, my freezer is 100% open. Whenever they need something, they can come and grab it.
Nice.
So, but I've done that all year. I did. I joined a food co-op this season, and so we get special deals from them. And so like I'll go and pick up like 50-pound boxes of chicken or like 30-pound boxes of bacon. I'll like separate it, and like hand it out. They can come and get it whenever they want to. Stuff like that. It's open access, so
That's
they can
awesome.
come and grab whatever they want whenever they want to. So I think we've built that culture. They just know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable going to bed at night knowing that if something happened at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I could call any one of them and they'd be here like
Nice.
immediately. And it's reversed too. They know, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and they need a ride or something like that, they can call me. They're probably going to hear about it. I'm like that dad lecturing them on the way home. So that's probably why they don't call me a lot, but they know. They know they can. But yeah, so like the food is a big one. We helped them out. Sorry, we helped out a lot with food. I'll be doing a gift card here this week for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
They're going to get some cash bonuses before Christmas. Be able to do, just specifically for Christmas. So it's, for Christmas gifts and stuff. I guess whatever they want to spend it on. But,
Sure.
we get, I ask them every season. We sit down before it gets cold. If anybody needs, if their kids need boots or coats, we make sure everybody's taken care of. Like not just the employee, but their families. Make sure their kids are warm, stuff like that.
I love
care
that.
about them. I say, we say employees and team, and stuff like that. But these guys are my friends too.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids come over, for my kids' birthdays. We do their birthdays. If there's, we did Halloween together. We're all pretty good friends.
Has that been an issue with anything? Like ever something comes up, where employees attitude changes or whatever, they just not doing the great work. Has that become an issue because you become friends with them? Just curious.
No, because it's to be able to do all this stuff, you have to have a different perspective. A really good book that I read that really kind of changed a lot of things was the How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mm-hmm.
A big one that stuck out with me on that one is, if I have this kid working for me, 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden we get a huge shift in, his attitude, or he's showing up late multiple times in a week. My first question is not, or my first response is not, get your shit together, you're going to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
My first response, my first question to him is, take him to lunch, sit him down, like, hey, is everything okay? Like, what's up, man? Let us, we can help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, you don't know. It's, oh, their mom's sick. Oh, uh, my brother's coming in from out of town, and we don't have the greatest relationship. Um, my kid is getting in trouble at school. Stuff like that. And so, most of the time it's, they're not getting lazy, or they're not getting comfortable. 99% of the time it's, there's just something else going on in their life. And like I said earlier, I don't give two shits about landscaping. I care about you as a person more than I care. I don't, we could be cleaning windows or shoveling shit, or, you know, pouring concrete. That's all on the back end. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. You as a person matters, more. So having that relationship with them and that perspective, like going into a meeting with somebody like that, having that view, helps out tons. And so, with us all being friends, I even think it makes it a lot easier. So we're a lot
Mm-hmm.
more honest with each other. We're open. I, you know, I get into an argument with my wife. I tell him, I kind of tell him, like, well, or got in a fight. I'm like, oh no, just had a, rough night, got in an argument,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And it's the compassion for each other is all there. So
I love that. I love that. And I love the family atmosphere. Personally, that's the way I always wanted to do business, and I
yeah,
think it makes it everybody feel better, welcome, and want to be there and be part of that family. So
yeah.
I do love that you're doing that.
Oh, 1,000%, man. It builds it actually builds a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I keep saying it doesn't matter if it's landscaping. It's, I don't, 5 years from now, you know, if making YouTube videos about random things is our new niche, I'll take these guys with me
Mm-hmm.
to go do that.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. We're a good team working together. So, we went through a lot of people too. You'll find that. I'm gonna say, I'm not. I guess I probably step back on that a little bit. Most people already have this person, like their go-to person, already working for them. They're already
Yeah.
there. Like, if you have employees right now, if you have a team right now, that person that can take some of this stuff off your plate is already there. You just have to change your perspective, and um, you know, instead of just focusing on growing yourself, grow with them. Don't make it happen. But
Absolutely.
and it's like one out of, it's not gonna be everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard to find these guys, but
Well, I love the fact that you empower them to make the decisions, empower them to make that mistake. Yeah, well, like I know you and I have had this conversation, but when you started doing landscaping, I started doing landscaping. Our first project, whatever it was, at least mine. I mean, it wasn't our best work. I mean, it worked and it was functional, but looking back, it's like, damn, I should have done this different. I should have done that different. Same thing with them. They have to learn, and they have to learn how to grow it. But if you are over and micromanaging them, they're not going to learn to build. They're not going to be able to do that. They're just going to listen to what you say. And to me, they're going to be calling you about every little error, or little thing that comes up. You
yeah,
want them to make that decision. I think that's what you've been allowing your team to do.
yeah. Oh, that's percent. Dude, I've paid out the insurance. I've paid out the workers' comp. Um, you know, they've they've made a mistake. If you asked me 8 years ago, like, about a workers' comp thing, I'd have been like, oh, that would ruin me. That would ruin me. But I just had, my project manager last November, almost to the day, he dropped a trailer on his ankle and he didn't come back for like 8 months.
Ouch.
But we're they're not going to do it again. I guarantee that they're not going to do it again. Yeah, they got to learn. And with the technology today, there's zero reason to have to be at that job site, like sitting there watching them. You can FaceTime on WhatsApp. You can send all the pictures through it. You can, we use Jobber. Jobber runs everything. It's all there. And like once you start niching down, that's when things really start clicking, because you're doing like almost the same thing over and over again. Like you're not going like one day we're going to pour concrete and then the next day we're going to install a pond. Right? Because that's chaos. That's absolute chaos right there. And so, every job for us is garden boxes. We're ripping out this grass. We're going to install these boulders here. We're going to do this chat gravel, this crushed stone pathway, and clover. We're going to install clover. It's going to be, it's all going to be the same. So it makes it really easy for them to excel at their jobs. That's my job. I want to make it as easy as possible for them to do the best that they can. So, and even before niching down, I actually sat down. We had a big meeting. We had everybody in here around the table, and I asked them all, I'm like, what do you hate? What do you like? What do you hate about your jobs? What do you like about your jobs? Like, as far as in perspective of like, what do you like to install and what do you not like to install? And the number one thing that nobody liked to install was sprinklers for like, those big 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 square foot grass areas, like the trenching, and everybody hated it. So I'm like, all right, well, there's another push for doing xeriscapes. Let's capitalize on what we like to do, because xeriscapes, we're just doing drip line. And, clover areas, we're maybe putting in 10 heads on an entire property for that. And so, I figured out what they like to do, what they don't like to do. And that's how I push the company forward, doing that stuff. Everybody loved doing the garden boxes. Everybody thinks they're cool. We get a lot of recognition from them. We do the farmers market. And so everybody loves them. So we kept the garden boxes. Then we push it really heavily. I also asked them too. I actually asked them all. Yeah, I was in that same meeting. I told them all to get back to me. I said, we're going to each meet individually next week, and I need to know the minimum of what you need to make to be comfortable. Like, not like I'm not going to pay you to go buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
I'm coming to work for you.
5,000 square foot house, right? Like, I'm not doing that, but I want you to, where you're at now, I want you to be able to pay your bills, put roughly 15-20% away in some savings. I want you to be able to go out with your family on the weekends and do things. So make sure you allow for that. And they all came back with numbers, and those numbers were a lot less than what I thought they were going to be. And so, I bumped everybody up. This year was a big pay raise for everybody, because I wanted everybody to be comfortable.
Nice.
Stuff like that. So, sorry, I keep rambling on, but
you're good.
I mean, as far as like making them, as far as like trusting them and making them comfortable and having that relationship with them, like all these things really kind of tie in and mesh into it. It's not like just one single thing that I did.
Well, and I love that, and I love the fact that you ask them what they need to make a living on. I think that's very important, because many people, they're jumping around job to job because money's not everything. I know that, but they have to be able to make a living and pay for their family's needs and everything. So I think that's great. I'm a huge fan of Mike Michalowicz, and one of the things he mentions in I can't remember, one or a couple of his books, he talks about getting to know your employees. And I think that's what you've done very well, is kind of sitting down with them, talking to them, finding out, what's their hobbies, what they like to do on the weekends, and just kind of get to know them and finding out what their goals are. And I think that's what you've been doing, and it helps create that family culture in your business.
Yeah. man. It's definitely, family culture is you just, nailed it on the head. That's what it is. And we still, I don't want to, sugarcoat everything.
Oh,
We still get in arguments, but our arguments are more like when you get in an argument with like your brother.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like me and Wyatt will get in arguments. My project manager, usually kind of ends up with, like, hey, you better stop before I take you out and like whip you with the hose, or so, some arguments, stuff like that. We
Mhm.
get into it. Either that, or we're comfortable with each other saying like, nah, I need a break. Like I need a break from you for a couple of days.
Yeah. Nice.
We're cool with that because we're human, and that's how we treat each other. Like none
Mhm.
of us are oblivious to the fact of how relationships work.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, they're every single one of them. And it's not just like the pay thing too. It's of course we give them a we pay them hourly
Mhm.
to do their work, but I mean, oh goodness, I had a guy, his toilet went out. His kid kept shoving toys and garbage in the toilet, and it just stopped working. And he was at work, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey man, I think I got to go." And I'm like, "Well, what are you gonna do about it?" There's really nothing you can do about it. And so I called up the plumber. He went over there. He fixed it. I paid him. It's all taken care of.
Nice.
Just a couple weeks ago, the heater went out in one of their houses. I gave him the heaters out of my shop until I could pay my HVAC guy to go over and fix it. If they have a problem come up, they need, they all have cards. Most of them have cards. If they need gas in their tank, we just put it in. I get a lot of, being the business owner, we always get like those clients that are like, "Oh, I have this old lawnmower. Do you want it?" I'm
Mhm.
like, "Hell yeah, give it to me." So, that stuff gets given away. Ignacio took the lawnmower. He just got a new house up in North Ogden, but he took the lawnmower. Little stuff like that.
Nice.
It,
Well, it's
it
those little
pays
things that
off.
make a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you mentioned earlier that, you've gone through, your fair share of employees, which we all have.
yeah.
And it's been, everybody's talking about how hard it is to find employees and, the shortage of employees. What have you done this past season or so to help find people? Where have you been looking? How have you been finding them?
It's all. I stopped with the Indeed stuff, man, because that was
Mhm.
just. Oh, that was rough. Um, it's so. Well, I guess let's see. So, Wyatt wasn't here this spring, so we brought on another guy, which he was a friend of one of our other employees. So I think, it's friends of friends.
Mhm.
Honestly, they kind of I just tell them, I'm like, hey, we're looking for somebody, and they're all very comfortable with calling their friends, being like, hey, do you want a job? Like we're trying to find somebody, because they know what kind of place it is. And so I think that's the best thing you can do, because I mean, what's better than having 4 or 5 people on your payroll that are, and if you treat them well, they're walking, talking billboards
Mhm.
for your
I, I,
business.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I can't I mean, you can post on Facebook, you can stand on the corner and shout until you're, you know, I mean, until you're just you can't talk anymore. But like in today's day and age, where you have all these employers that just treat their employees like trash, they treat them horribly.
Mhm.
You got the WalMarts, and I don't want to name drop. Sorry, any like the big box stores, and you got the other contractors that are so old school that they still throw throw things
Mhm.
and yell at you and call you a piece of garbage, and stuff like that. That's who I'm competing with. for employees. And so like it's easy for me because, I just tell the people that I have, I'm like, we need a few more people, let's open it up. Let's see what we can do. And every single time we can find, a few guys. We had, like I said, my project manager was out this spring. We had a guy come on to operate. He was great. He's since left. We kind of departed ways. But he was great, and he was somebody's friend on the team. And he came in, rocked it, did some great stuff for us, and then he, just went a separate direction. So, I mean, as far as like bringing people on, that's been the big thing. I guess I tend to focus more on keeping them here than trying to bring them on. But
well, I think too, having a great culture built in your business first is very important. If you have a crappy culture, your team members are not going to recommend anybody else that they know to come work for you. Like, I think to me, that's very important. You start creating that culture. So if you don't have that great culture, I encourage you look and start talking to people, doing some of the suggestions that Alec has been doing beforehand, and then go start hiring people. To me, again, it's just people aren't going to come work for somebody that's a crappy boss. I'm sorry. Like there's nothing around it.
Terrible. Nobody's never going to do it. And I like another thing, like, our sprinkler vendors, the guys who sell us our sprinkler parts for all that stuff. I think I maybe stepped foot in their store like 3 times this year, like just to grab some personal stuff. But other than that, it was always the team that goes in there. They use the accounts. Same thing with like all of our rock and gravel, or from any one of our vendors. It's my team. It's our team going in there now. And so it's not just me. So, they go in there, you have the conversations of like, oh, how do you like your job? And I love it. I love it. And so then, word spreads real quick. I got guys texting me, I maybe got a dozen texts this year from guys that are like, oh, are you hiring right now? Or can I come work for you? Stuff like that. Like, I'm sick of this asshole treating me like garbage. Do you guys have an open position? Man, here we are.
Exactly. We actually, I can say in my dad's business, it was early this spring, when everybody's having a hard time trying to find employees. One of our competitors in this area actually started approaching our team and actually offered them $30 an hour, which is, at least in this area, is very, very, very well. So but our team members stayed with us because they knew our culture. They knew what they're going to get. They knew they're going to stay busy all the time. They found out like that $30 an hour was they're not going to get any overtime here. At least you're guaranteed at least some overtime.
Yeah.
But they stayed for our culture, I believe, and didn't go to that $30 option. So having that culture again is so important, and it's going to help keep your team members on board and not go to the competitor.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys forget that, man. Guys and girls. I think they get so stuck in the day-to-day of numbers and running a business and, all this stuff that they forget they're dealing with people and not like robots. And it hurts them in the long run. So we also made the decision, like this spring too, we kind of had the decision. I've always kind of had this thought in the back of my mind, but like I could have added a second crew this year. I could have added 3 crews and we would have been well over, $2 million in revenue. But at that $2 million in revenue, I probably would have been, 30-35% gross profit on everything. And so like we made a pretty solid decision this season that we're going to keep the 1 crew, and we're just going to polish it until it shines. And they did. They did it. We're polished. We're about as polished as for 1 crew as you can get. I don't think we can squeeze out any more profit from it. And so and now's the time that we can expand, because now we can add a second crew and we have these systems in place to make sure that they are polished. So, instead of being at 2 million with 35%, gross profit, we're sitting at, 750,000, 800,000 with, between 50 and 60% gross profit.
Mm-hmm.
Right around there. And so I didn't have a lot of focus on like adding a bunch to the team. More focus on just making sure it's polished, and then treating the people that I have well, which is an okay step. I think a lot of people get to a point in their business where they're like, oh, we got to grow, we got to grow, we got to grow, but growing isn't just revenue.
Yeah.
Growing can be profit margins. Growing can be, I mean, building culture. Like we've been talking about. So I think a lot of guys forget that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, I should say everybody, a lot of people though will find themselves that, yeah, exactly what you said. I want to grow. I want to become $2 million, $5 million, $10 million companies. But you don't have to get to that point to be happy and to get the profit margins you like. Like the reason why we call ourselves a $1 million landscaper, we stayed in our family business between $1 million to $2 million a year. And we did that, I don't even know, 20 plus years. But we got good at exactly what you did. We just stayed in that realm, and that, okay, let's see, how can we figure this out to make this better, or make sure this more flows better, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that just worked for us. We were happy with what we're making, and there's no need to grow. Like, but that's our attitude. But if you want to grow, but you start growing, like I was talking to somebody the other day that's in the academy, they just grew too fast, and then they have all this equipment. And now they have all this stuff, but they don't have the systems in place, and things started falling apart. And then their lives are getting stressed out because they're running, putting out fires all day. So I think that's awesome what you did in your business.
Yeah. No, it's, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Because, I don't have like a huge house or anything like that. It's tight. We could move somewhere else and do all that stuff. But, tell you what, stress levels are like non-existent. Just completely completely non-existent. We don't stress about anything. We got our jobs. We're all sold out for the year. I'm not trying to push to hire on 5 more people right now to like squeeze in as many more jobs as we can. We're good. We're starting to plan for next year. We're comfortable. And we're making sure everybody is comfortable over the winter. And good to go. And we're just kind of rolling through it and getting stuff done.
Love it.
Yeah.
So Alec, do you have anything you would recommend to somebody, that's struggling with their team and finding people? Anything that you would recommend that they should do kind of right now to kind of change that and get going in the right direction?
Yeah. You need to back away for a minute. You kind of back off a little bit and really do some self-reflection. Figure out the kind of, not just the kind of business that you want to have, but the kind of business owner you want to be. Really, really dive into it. If you got to take, 4 or 5 days off and go, I don't care what you want to do. You want to go on a fishing trip or go hunting or, just go to the beach for a few days, kind of take some time to yourself, explore a little bit, and just, decide what direction you want to take it, and then act on it. Just be the boss that you want to be. It's not all roses starting that stuff, man. It's not all sugary sweet, and it's not going to be like you're going to come back after 4 or 5 days off and it's just all going to click. It takes a couple years, to kind of build all that and do it. But, I just ran into so many guys that are 40, 50, 60 years old, and they're just angry. So angry and like miserable and just dicks. I don't know. Just there's always time to let go. Just let that stuff go. And, just be a good person.
Love it.
Just treat your team with respect. Talk to them. It all starts there. Start. Don't don't expect things. Like, start doing stuff for your team, and that stuff will pay out. It might not be the next week, it might not be the next 6 months, but a year from then, it's gonna pay off. Call your team in, have a meeting. Ask them what they need.
Yeah,
do that. Yeah,
nice.
I mean, that's kind of about
Alec,
it, man.
I appreciate you being on the show today. It's always great talking to you. And I hope the listeners out there take some advice and take a step back in their business and really look at yourself and look at what you want in your business, what you want out of your team, and make those changes. Start making those changes. Like you said earlier, Alec, it's not too late. You can always go on and make changes now. So I encourage you to do that, do what Alec says and suggested, and start making those changes in your business. Alec, how could any listeners out there reach out to you, get hold of you if they wanted to?
We're on Instagram. You got our at Nailerscapes.
Mm-hmm.
I also have, I think, everybody on the team. I usually tag them in all the posts and stuff like that, so they're all on there. You can go straight to them, see if I'm lying or not. They'll check that. I think we're good to go. But Instagram, our website, nailerscapes.com. There's a contact us button. That's for work, but if you want anything else, you can reach out there.
Nice.
Stuff like that. So we've got the phone number posted everywhere. You guys can call me.
And I'll put the links in the show notes, guys, so you can check it out. But reach out to Alec. He's a great guy to talk to and chat with. So Alec, you got a few minutes for some. Sorry, you got a few minutes for some fun questions?
Yeah, of course, man. I real quick though, I guess with the whole team stuff, Wyatt, Beck, Drew, Ignacio, I couldn't do any of this without you guys. You're awesome, and I'm very honored to have you be a part of the team. Every single one of you. You've been amazing, and I can't wait to see what what the future holds as what we turn this into.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Yes, I'm ready for some fun questions. Yes.
High fives to all of you.
High fives everywhere, man. But yeah, I'm ready for some questions. What's up?
All right. So given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want to have as a dinner guest?
Ooh. Man.
Anybody.
Anybody.
Sure.
Probably two choices. Personally, on the personal side, I'd love to go to dinner with my grandpa again. Love to. He was a contractor. He kind of helped me get some of this stuff going, and if he is still alive today, to be able to see what we've turned this into, I think would be some great conversations. And then as far as a professional level, I don't know, man. We still haven't had dinner yet. I still actually never met you in person.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I would love nothing more than to take you and Katie out to a very nice dinner, and just BS for a couple hours.
Yeah, no. Well,
so I mean, I like not to be all mushy and stuff like that, man. But you guys done a lot.
Appreciate that.
I've done a lot. I couldn't have a culture without being profitable. Mm-hmm. So, I don't really have a lot of, professional idols or movie stars that I'd want to go out and eat with. So I'd be right now, this moment, I'd be honored to take you guys out to dinner.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you, Alec.
Yeah.
Well, our goal ultimately is to travel around with our business, and we have a camper and just travel the country and go visit landscapers like yourself and just hang out for dinner or whatever, do whatever for a night or two, whatever it is, and help out, do whatever we can. So that's our ultimate goal. So we'll definitely make it out your way.
Do it, man. I got my stuff all ready to go. We can go hit up, Yellowstone or
there we go.
Something else next season. Yeah. Next couple of years. We're here. So
it sounds good. All right. When was the last time you felt lit up? What made you excited?
Ooh. I figured out, we were just talking about this before it started, but I figured out how to record myself on Twitch with the OBS studios and the video games, because my son likes to play Fortnite, and he loves nothing more than to watch, like, yeah, all these kids are watching people on YouTube play video games. So like I wanted to, it was set. I had it set in my heart. I'm like, I'm gonna post a video on YouTube of me and him playing video games. So yeah, that was just it was just a couple days ago.
That's awesome.
So that was awesome, man. I finally figured it out. That was yeah, he thought it was cool too. So
nice. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, the last one. What was the oddest job you ever took to earn a buck?
Ooh. The oddest job I ever did, Icon, for me, that I didn't actually earn anything from, was Christmas lights.
Okay.
Because I started advertising for Christmas lights, and I started getting calls, but the calls were coming from people that lived up on the mountain. So they had like 3 or 4 story homes. And so I was showing up to these people's houses afraid of heights. I literally had to tell a lady, I'm like, I'm so sorry, your house is way too tall. I'm not going to do this. And she tried to give me money to do it, and I couldn't. I couldn't do it. But no, other than that, I've been doing this since I was 16, 17 years old. So, I think we all run into them odd jobs of, I don't know, just, it's all up in the air, man. We've done everything.
I think that's pretty common until you start niching down and start finding what you like doing. And that's what you've been doing in your business, which is great. And that's what I see a lot of people are doing, is just kind of honing in on what they actually like doing. We all get started doing everything, mowing and leaf cleanup or whatever it is. And then you're like, I don't like doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. And
yeah. Oh, I have one. In high school, I went to work in the mall. What was it? PacSun. PacSun in the mall, where they do the jeans and stuff like that. I made it. I think I was there for 2 days. I couldn't. Just the handing people jeans to try, because my job was the jean wall, like the big wall in the store with all the jeans, and so I had to hand people the size. But then they'd come out of the dressing room and like just throw them on the ground, and they're like, it doesn't fit, and they just walk out. And then I'm sitting there like staring around, like, did that really? My whole job was just to refold jeans and put it back on that wall. And I'm like, I told the manager, I'm like, I quit. I can't. I'm sorry. I got to leave. But this is just, PacSun is going to have a lawsuit for me for me screaming at somebody. And that was definitely, out of everything that I've done, that's the oddest. That's the oddest bunch so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, again, Alec, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being an Academy member. I really, really appreciate you being a member and sharing all your thoughts and everything you've done for us and over the past couple of years. So thank you very much. Hopefully I'll have you back on the podcast here soon. We talk about something else. I always enjoy having you on.
Yeah, man. I love coming on and talking about this stuff. So you guys have helped us out quite a bit, and being able to kind of take all that info you've given us and help us out with and turn it into something that I can hopefully help other people out with it's always a good feeling.
Yep.
So
all right, Alec. Well, thank you very much, and wish everyone to have a great day.
Yeah, everybody take it easy.